Here are 4 important dates you need to note if you are planning a visa switch this year. It's very important that you note these dates so that you know what is expected of you and what changes are going to take place. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Cynthia. I share information that will help your transition abroad to be as smooth as possible. I share information about settling, working, or studying in the UK, US, or Canada. If any of these countries interest you, please subscribe to my channel. Hit on the notification bell so that each time I drop a new video, you know it's time to watch Cynthia Academy. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your love and support. I really appreciate every single one of you. You guys are amazing. Please keep liking my videos, keep sharing it with those people that would benefit from it, because I really want you guys to grow. And without wasting time, let's get into this video. In the past few months, there has been a lot of changes in the UK immigration policies, and I feel it's also important that you note these dates. One of the dates is 6th of February, which has passed. That's when IHS fees went up from £624 to £1,035. So it means that a family of 4 will be spending nothing less than £11,000 in IHS fees for a 5-year route skilled worker visa. So that's something you need to prepare. I've always said that you always note that, yeah, there are some companies that are willing to pay these fees for you, but some don't. So just prepare yourself accordingly. Now, another important date is 11th of March 2024. That is the date that care workers with code 6145 and senior carers with code 6146 will not be allowed to bring their dependents into the UK if they are applying for the first time. So if you are applying for a health and care visa and it's for the first time from 11th of March 2024, you cannot bring your dependents and you cannot stay with your dependents from that date. So I've always encouraged people that, see, if you need to hurry and you are waiting for your COS and it's taking a while and you need to hurry to submit an application, tell your employer to tick that they are going to take care of your maintenance, because if you're going to bring some money as evidence for your maintenance to apply for a visa, that money has to be in your account for at least 28 days, and there is no time. So encourage your employer to tick that option that they're going to take care of your maintenance so that it will facilitate your visa application process. On that same date, if your organization is not regulated by CQC, you cannot sponsor a care worker to stay in the UK or work in the UK. So it's a very important date for you. Now, I've always told you, if you want to be a care worker and you want to come into the UK, I've said, see, you have to check 2 things. First, whether that care provider, nursing home, or whatever establishment it is, check whether they have the license to sponsor you. And how you can do that is to check the register of licensed sponsors. That's one thing. The second thing you're going to check is whether they are regulated by CQC, and it's so easy to do. Go to the CQC website and check whether they are there. That's one option. Now, if you check this and that organization has it, then apply. Now, we know that this care sector is becoming very saturated, but the care providers or the nursing homes in places that the population is not so high, they still need people. You can apply to such places. Just note that those places are not like the city. If you're used to bubble and hustle in the city, it's not going to be that. That place is a little bit laid back. You can try those options. Now, also note that if you're already a care worker in the UK and you have your family, from 11th of March, you won't be affected. You can still bring your dependents and you can still stay with your dependents. The only problem is if you want to extend your visa, you cannot extend your visa with an organization that is not CQC regulated. That is the problem. That's the new law that has been put into place now. So it means that if you are in the UK, NHS jobs are the sure way, because more than 99% of NHS hospitals are CQC regulated. There's more stability in NHS jobs. Some people say, oh, you can be disappointed by NHS job, but the truth is that the probability of that happening is low. So I will encourage you, if you are with a care provider, I feel you should still search for NHS job, because NHS job will give you the opportunity for career progression. There are cases where people work with the NHS, and from there they're able to pick up one or two funding schemes that will help them progress to becoming a nurse, becoming a nursing associate, things like that. I feel it's very important that if you are in the UK, even if you keep checking online and your care provider is regulated by CQC, and you check and they are on the register of licensed sponsors, anybody can lose their license anytime. I'm not saying that should happen to you. You might check the website. I will put the link in the description box so that I can check the website to be sure that your employer is not in trouble, because most of these employers, they're not even telling people anything. So just try and check it, whether your employer is in trouble or not. You don't want to receive the shock of your life that you have 60 days to leave the country. There are thousands of families that have to leave the country. They have received that notification that they have to leave because licenses have been revoked, and I don't want you to fall under this category. So I feel no matter what it is, once you come into this country, start looking for NHS jobs. Yeah, they're more stable. That's my own thing. And you might say it's very difficult to have. Just update your CV, revamp it, reach out to me. I can help you, rework your CV, communicate better on your paper so that it can increase your chances of you being invited for an interview. Some of you have so many skills, but you don't know how to put it on paper in such a way that it's it's credible, that it shows that you have that wealth of experience. So you need someone to help you do that, and just reach out to me. Another date that you should note is that on the 14th of March, the 20% ongoing rate on the minimum salary threshold will be removed for shortage occupation list. So any occupation on the shortage occupations list that they have brought down the minimum salary threshold by putting that discount, 20% discount, will be removed. What it means is that the minimum salary threshold will go up. If it becomes high, it becomes more difficult for employers to employ you, because it is more expensive for them to employ you. So I feel you should take note of that date. Now, someone contacted me and asked me, oh yeah, I am working towards getting a digital marketing, COS, and is there any importance of all these dates? And I said, listen, it's very important that you pay attention to these dates, because if it goes up to 38,700, your employer might not want to employ you, give you a COS with that amount. Maybe what they wanted to give you was 26,000 or 24,000, and then, or maybe I don't know how much they wanted to pay for it. And then when they remove all these discounts, it becomes more difficult to employ you. Now, the MAC, which is the Migration Advisory Committee, has already released a document which has not been approved yet. And in their proposal, they said they want the shortage occupations list to be named immigration salary list, and only 21 occupations will be on that list. And the things that they have proposed there is really serious. Many occupations will be affected seriously. Many employers will not be able to afford paying somebody 38,700 or 30,000 in some occupations where the ongoing rates is just be dropped a little. So I feel it's very important that you get your COS as soon as possible. Make sure you have your maintenance costs, your IHS fees, everything intact, and submit your application before this thing goes on, because once it goes live, once it's implemented, it's going to be difficult for employers to employ you on that amount. I also said, remember that if you classify as an entrant, you don't have to worry. The discount is 30% on the minimum salary threshold. 30% on 38,700 is £27,090. Now, that amount is not so bad. But another thing you have to understand is that there are two options. Either they pay you something around that amount, or if that particular field you are going into is a special field and has an ongoing rate on it, 20% on that ongoing rate. So any of them that is the higher option is the one that's going to be chosen. Why it's very important you should pay attention to this is because if your COS has an amount that is not up to the amount that the government has stipulated on the website, your visa will be refused. And I don't want that for you. I want you to get that visa application approved. I want it to be approved. That's why I'm sharing this. So for entrants, you have 30% on the ongoing rates, and they also have 20% on the specific ongoing rate for that occupation. So any of them that is higher is the option that will be chosen. So make sure your employer pays something around the one that is higher. I don't know what the ongoing rate for your particular profession is, so pay attention to this. Now, another important date is the 4th of April. It's the date when the new increase to the minimum salary required for those arriving on a skilled worker visa from 26,200 to 38,700. So it's very clear. I already explained previously that, it's not everybody that qualifies as an entrant, and I shared a video about who an entrant is. If you're coming in and you're a fresh graduate and you're coming in from outside the country and just want to come in, you do not qualify as an entrant. So the minimum salary threshold that they have to pay you is 38,700, except for some cases where some occupations are exempt from this. I'm talking about maybe care workers, doctors, and teachers. There are some particular occupations, those ones that are on the national pay scale, they're exempt from this 38,700. That's why you have to check these things before you submit your visa application, so that your visa application will not be refused. These dates should be noted. Another date that is very important is 11th of April. They say increasing the minimum income requirement threshold in stages for family visas, starting at £29,000 from 11th of April. So that is the date that the minimum salary threshold for families, those people that want to go apply for spouse visa, dependent maybe of your child, you want to bring your child that is a dependent into the UK, not dependent of students. We are talking about dependent of those people married to a British citizen or someone that has a indefinite leave to remain visa. That is what we are talking about. So if you get married outside and you want to bring your spouse in, and the person is coming in as your spouse, a spouse of a British citizen. So we call this the family visa. It's a unique type of visa. That's the visa I have. If you are under this category, just note that it's going to increase to 38,700, but it's going to increase to that in 3 stages. The first stage is this thing that's going to happen on 11th of April, when it's going to increase to £29,000. If your wife is outside the country and you want to bring, so you should be earning £29,000 and above for you to sponsor her. Her own income outside the country will not contribute towards you, making up that £29,000. Now, if you want to extend your visa and your wife is with you in the UK, then you can combine your income together to extend it to be £29,000 from 11th of April. Now, they will announce a future date when it will increase to 38,000 pounds before it now gets finally increased to 38,700 pounds. How many people can afford? How many people earn this amount? So you can't even marry somebody from another country. It's like someone, maybe you meet somebody in the UK and you fall in love, and just like that, if you're not earning this amount, you cannot sponsor your wife to stay with you in the UK, or your husband to stay with you in the UK, or your children to stay with you in the UK. It's so sad. It's so sad. And if you want to use cash, that's a different ball game. There's a way it's calculated. Don't think that if you're earning 25,000 and you have 4,000 or 5,000 in your account, you make it up. No, it doesn't work that way. There's a special way it's being calculated. So these are the important dates you need to note. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.